Hey guys, welcome to part 9 of What If Yuji Was an Uchiha. Last time we left off after Yuji beating Choso and agreeing to team up with Mimiko and Nanako to take down the man in the robes who orchestrated the whole Shibuya incident. With everyone caught up, let's begin. Suddenly, Jogo enters the room. Without warning, he unleashed a colossal blast of flames, engulfing the two sisters in a blazing inferno. Shock and concern flashed across Yuji's face as he witnessed the dangerous situation unfolding before him. Driven by a surge of determination, Yuji swiftly activated his Sharingan, the intensity of the flames reflected in his determined eyes. Responding to the imminent threat, he countered Jogo's fiery assault with a powerful fireball jutsu of his own. The clash of flames illuminated the room, showcasing the fierce confrontation between the two adversaries. However, the peril escalated when Jogo, seemingly unaffected by the exchange, declared that, despite Yuji's improved abilities, victory would still elude him. Suddenly, a noose materialized around Jogo's neck, surprising him. Confused, Jogo discovered that the two sisters, particularly Nanako, had managed to protect themselves with a technique, leaving them unharmed but visibly exhausted. Enraged by what he perceived as an attempt on his life, Jogo exploded in flames, incinerating the noose and launching another fiery blast at the girls. In an act of selflessness, Yuji jumped in the way, taking the brunt of the attack. The searing flames burned his back, causing intense pain and restricting his upper body movements. Despite the agony, Yuji urged the girls to run, recognizing that they were outmatched in this formidable battle. With grim determination, Yuji turned his attention back to Jogo, wincing in pain but prepared to face the powerful adversary. Charging at Jogo with swift kicks, Yuji aimed to press the offensive. Although Jogo narrowly dodged one kick, he couldn't escape the follow-up strike that sent him airborne. Seizing the opportunity, Yuji unleashed a fireball jutsu, only to find it countered by Jogo's devastating disaster flames. Forced to adapt, Yuji unsheathed his second sword, a blade named Raijin after the Japanese god of lightning. As Raijin crackled with pure electricity, growing from the size of a tanto to a katana, Yuji wielded it skillfully, defending himself against the relentless onslaught of flames. However, the building around them was not as lucky and was consumed by the intense heat, turning it into a pile of molten rocks and metal. As Yuji continued his desperate evasion through the chaotic streets of Shibuya, Jogo's relentless pursuit manifested as a raging tsunami of flames, rapidly closing the distance. Realizing the need for a decisive counterattack, Yuji strategically led his relentless pursuit away from densely populated areas. Finally reaching a suitable distance, Yuji swiftly turned to face Jogo. Channeling his immense cursed energy, he unleashed the power of the Great Dragon Flame Jutsu. The torrent of flames managed to split the fiery tsunami, cleaving Jogo in half and creating a momentary respite. Seizing the opportunity, Yuji closed in with unparalleled speed, employing his fire-style blazing fist to crush Jogo through multiple buildings, pulverizing his jaw in the process. The aftermath left Jogo momentarily stunned and vulnerable. In response, Jogo deployed ember insects, summoning a swarm of fiery insects that homed in on Yuji. Displaying remarkable anticipation, Yuji skillfully sliced through the swarm, causing premature explosions and neutralizing the threat. With a strategic shift, Yuji unleashed the Chidori, his hand coated in the crackling energy of lightning style. Moving at a speed capable of splitting lightning, he pierced Jogo's chest, holding him up for a crucial moment. However, Jogo retaliated by increasing his internal temperature, burning Yuji's hand and arm, forcing a strategic retreat. Having expended a considerable portion of his cursed energy, Yuji pivoted to rely on his sword techniques. Jogo, undeterred, conjured two massive hands of fire, grabbing hold of buildings and hurling them toward Yuji. Forced to protect himself, Yuji extended the Chidori stream beyond his body, creating a protective zone that vaporized incoming rubble and provided a brief defensive barrier. Enraged by Uchiha's resilience, Jogo prepared his ultimate technique, the maximum meteor. With a colossal flaming meteor hovering above his hand, he aimed to unleash destruction upon Yuji, who, with only enough cursed energy for a small attack, faced imminent demise. Despite the odds, Yuji smiled with determination. Raising his hand into the heavens, Yuji revealed the intricacies of his planned counterattack. He explained that the upcoming strike surpassed anything Jogo could muster with his own cursed energy. Thanks to Jogo's extreme temperature attacks altering the atmosphere and creating a potent rising air current, thunderclouds had formed. Manipulating these elements, Yuji conjured a massive lightning dragon from the clouds, declaring that Jogo would vanish in the roar of thunder. As Yuji channeled his energy, he shouted Kirin, and directed the colossal lightning dragon towards the flaming meteor. The clash resulted in a spectacular display of power, vaporizing the meteor and propelling the lightning dragon toward Jogo. However, just before the devastating strike, Jogo enacted his domain expansion, Coffin of the Iron Mountain. Within the confines of the massive volcanic domain, the force of Uchiha's technique was absorbed by the barrier, creating a temporary hole that reformed shortly after. Realizing the need for further defense, Jogo employed the sure hit effect of his domain, bombarding Yuji with volcanic rocks that sent him to the brink of death. Halting his assault, Jogo released his domain expansion, satisfied that he had inflicted severe damage. He would then go on to toss Yuji against a wall, force-feeding his body 10 of Sukuna's fingers. With Yuji unconscious, Sukuna assumed control and utilized the reverse cursed technique to heal Uchiha's battered body and demands Jogo move within 1 second. Sensing Sukuna's menacing aura, Jogo swiftly distances himself, bowing down in fear as Sukuna approaches. Sukuna remarks that Jogo seems to be holding his head a little too high in his presence. To correct this, Jogo obediently drops to one knee. Seizing the moment, Sukuna uses his technique to carve a giant gash in the wall, then slices off the top of Jogo's head for failing to bow low enough. Blood pours down Jogo's face as he kneels in submission. Mocking Jogo for not valuing his life, Sukuna inquires about what Jogo desires from him. Surprisingly, Jogo states that he doesn't need anything except the full revival of Sukuna. He implores Sukuna to make a binding vow that would allow him to permanently take over Uchiha's body. However, Sukuna dismisses the idea, revealing that he has his own plans, leaving Jogo taken aback. Amused by Jogo's desperation, Sukuna decides to offer a token of appreciation for the 10 fingers. He proposes a challenge: if Jogo can land even a single hit on him in a Jutsu battle, Sukuna will temporarily collaborate with Jogo's group and kill everyone in Shibuya except for one. Which Jogo agrees to, getting ready to fight. In the intense battle that followed, Sukuna toyed with Jogo, effortlessly overpowering him with his overwhelming strength. Jogo, already drained from his previous confrontation with Yuji, stood no chance against Sukuna's might. The cursed spirit's desperate attempts to retaliate were futile as Sukuna skillfully dodged every attack with the added advantage of Uchiha's Sharingan. After a brief and one-sided exchange, Sukuna swiftly defeated Jogo, sealing his fate in a swift and decisive manner. With the elimination of Jogo, Sukuna turned his attention to Maharaga, another opponent in his path. The battle unfolded similarly to Kanon, however. This time, Sukuna had an additional advantage: the Sharingan borrowed from Yuji. The presence of the Sharingan allowed Sukuna to anticipate and dodge Maharaga's attacks with unparalleled precision. Furthermore, Sukuna could incorporate some of Uchiha's unique cursed techniques into his already formidable arsenal, although it was evident that he didn't necessarily need them to secure victory. The battle concluded with Sukuna emerging triumphant, having effortlessly defeated Maharaga, completely incinerating him with a majestic destroyer flame. As Sukuna walks past a horrified Shijimo, he dismissively orders the curse user to get lost. Overjoyed that he escaped death once again, Shijimo thanks Sukuna and foolishly runs into the crater left by the malevolent shrine. Unfortunately, this decision proves fatal for Shijimo as he is swiftly slashed in half by the persisting effects of the domain expansion. Noticing that Yuji is regaining control over his body, Sukuna takes a momentary pause from the chaos. He decides to relocate Megumi to the area where Shokoyai and Principal Yaga are situated and returns to the aftermath in front of Shibuya 109. Standing amidst the destruction, Sukuna addresses Yuji, instructing him to take a good look at the havoc and devastation he caused while under the cursed spirit's influence. As Yuji regains control, the reality of the chaos he unwittingly unleashed hits him with full force. Overwhelmed by guilt and despair, Yuji recalls the faces of those who fell victim to Sukuna's rampage. The weight of responsibility and the consequences of his actions become too much for Yuji to bear. In a moment of anguish, he vomits and, overcome by the sheer magnitude of the tragedy, he panics and screams at himself, grappling with the internal turmoil and grief for the lives lost. As Yuji's world crumbled around him, drowning in a sea of trauma and self-loathing, his eyes began to portray the pain within. Blood-soaked tears cascaded down his cheeks, as his eyes underwent a profound transformation. The Sharingan in his eyes spun, evolving into the Mangekyo Sharingan. Yuji's Sharingan, now Mangekyo Sharingan, featured a crimson-red iris with a central black pupil. Within this crimson expanse, 6 teardrop shapes weave a hexagonal shape, each alternating between fully black and black with a smaller red tear shape inside. Each teardrop was separated by overlapping D-shapes that face opposite directions. Unaware of the emergence of his Mangekyo, Yuji remained oblivious to this newfound power dwelling within him. Despite this, Yuji enters a state of cold focus, realizing that he has to fight and help people or else he's nothing but a murderer. Okay guys, this is the end of this part of What If Yuji Was an Uchiha. If you enjoyed, leave a like and comment, as well as subscribing with notifications enabled. With that out the way, this is Demonic Saiyan saying bye.